On this episode of The Commercial Break.
How many zeros to cut off a finger?
Oh.
Cut off a finger. You had to cut off your own finger.
I have to cut off my own finger?
You have to cut off your own
Will has
finger.
to cut off his own finger?
Yes, we're not anesthetized here. You just have to...
I gotta do. Oh, ow.
Sober?
Just losing a finger is easy.
Yeah, losing a finger, you don't, it's just, you have no choice about it. It just goes.
Yeah.
But cutting it off, you have to think about it, you have to attack it, and you have to do it, right? Okay. And so I will say yes, that you are... No, actually, you know what? You can be in whatever state of inebriation you'd like.
Okay.
So how many zeros?
Cut off a finger. I'm going to go with $100K.
$100K, $100,000 for a finger.
I like my fingers.
Yeah, I would. I'd probably actually say $1 million because I think without one finger, we think we could lose one of the digits.
I mean, does it go all the way down to the knuckle? Or could it be half?
No, I think you all the way down to the knuckle.
Or just the tip?
Can it be one of the useless fingers?
Yes, it can be whatever finger you choose.
Just the tip.
No, John, not just the tip. Lots of people lose the tip. Lots of people lose the tip. Lots of people have just the tip. That's a thing.
So many problems have been caused by just the tip.
Just the tip. I'm Catholic. Just the tip is like, that's a way of living for us. Okay. All right. How many zeros, Will, to lose a finger?
I would probably go $1 million, but I'd have to have like a clean cleaver chop.
Yeah, me too. I would have to.
Yeah,
I couldn't do
quick.
it saw style.
No, you'd have to be quick.
The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
It's another episode of The Commercial Break! Touchdown, Bryan!
Yes.
Hello, Krissy Hoadley.
Hello, Brian Green.
Best to you, Krissy
Best
Hoadley.
to you, Brian.
Best to you out there in the podcast and whatever. Okay, we're gonna drop the Happy New Year.
We are?
Yes, we're gonna drop the Happy New Year.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. It's because we're
gonna say
like 9
Happy
months in.
Holidays?
Yeah, we'll say Happy Holidays. Happy Holidays. Because, it's about that time of year when they're going to start
Exactly.
putting out the Christmas ornaments.
Yes.
Any moment now. And there you go. So we're going to say Happy Holidays. So let's start again.
Okay.
Ready? I'm Brian Green. This is Krissy Hoadley. And Happy
Holidays.
Best to you, Krissy.
Best to you, Brian.
And best to you out there in the podcast universe. Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Commercial Break. And you know what I was thinking about the other day? I was thinking about, do you remember that comedian Gallagher?
Yes.
The guy who made entirely too much money running around the country smashing watermelons in people's
jumping
faces.
on trampolines.
And jumping on trampolines. What a fucking moron that guy was. You know that I recently went back and listened to an episode of him on Mark Maron's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And he was saying some of the most racist, homophobic, xenophobic shit I've ever heard someone say out loud. And under the guise of a joke. But Mark was obviously, extraordinarily uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so Mark said, I don't think that's funny at all. I actually think you're just being a homophobe. It was really more about gays, right? He said, I actually think you're just being more of a homophobe. Yeah. And Gallagher walked out. He was like, fuck you, and walked out of the place.
Well, best of fucking you.
Yeah, best of fucking you.
Gallagher.
Shithead ripoff comic. But, all of us at some point in our childhood were like, wow, Gallagher. He had 12 specials, 12 one-hour specials on HBO and Comedy Central.
He was like outrageous.
But he was pissed on the Mark Maron episode. He was pissed because he was never given a late night talk show like David Letterman or Jay Leno. He was pissed. He was like, I should have been on late night television. I should have had Dave Letterman's job.
Oh.
But they didn't give it to me because I was too busy out on the road. And I'm really upset about that to this day. I should have made much more money. He was like a total fucking cock knocker. And
weird.
And at one point, didn't his brother step up in for him? Wasn't there some controversy where he was doing shows on one side of the country as Gallagher, and then his brother was doing shows on the other side of the country
I don't know. I
as
missed that.
also Gallagher?
I don't know.
He is now all positive vibes that I had about Gallagher in my childhood have completely gone. I mean, he's a one-note act, right? He's just smashing stuff, and people have to take it in the front row. He was never.
He was like the Double Dare, the Nickelodeon Double Dare version, adult version, kind of.
Yeah, he was kind of like the adult. He was kind of like the adult version. He was more of a Dane Cook than a Dave Chappelle. Let's put it that way. Poor Dane. I like Dane. Dane's a friend.
Yeah.
Me and Dane are buddies.
Oh,
I'm famous now.
Good.
I get flown around in Mark Cuban's private jet and all that stuff. www.tcbpodcast.com is where you go. You can read more about Krissy and I. Check out all the show notes. listen to all the audio, watch all the video, and you can connect with us either on youtube.com/thecommercialbreak or at thecommercialbreak on Instagram. If you'd like to enter into our next contest, go to episode number 85 on youtube.com/thecommercialbreak. Watch all the way through, look for the Easter eggs, write the clues down. When I ask the question, you'll know the answer, and then you'll be entered in to win our next huge prize. Last time it was $500 in cash, gold dot gift cards. This time, well, we just have to wait and see. It's a surprise.
It is.
It's
a big surprise.
And I did want to
Gold
mention
coins.
gold Bitcoin, Bitclout. You know, in Clubhouse they have those guys who make their own, altcoin.
Money?
Yeah, they essentially print money. Yeah, it's a big sham. It's a pump and dump scam. Essentially, is what it is. But maybe we'll give away, one of our friends' altcoins. We have one of those friends, one of those podcast guys. You know what I'm talking about. I don't need to mention his name on there. I did want to also mention this, that Memfo Fest 2021, as far as we know, is still a go.
Yeah, it is.
And Krissy and I will be there. That's October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, am I right?
Yes, correct.
1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's in Memphis, Tennessee. You can go
They're
to
going to have some protocols in place, similar to like what
Lollapalooza did.
And I think Bonnaroo just put some stuff out and whatever. So as safe as they can be.
And so our intention right now is to be broadcasting or be recording shows live at Memfo Fest as we see it right now. We'll let you know if that changes. MemphoFest.com is where you go to get some tickets to the show. If you're going to be there, please let us know. And we will, of course, try and meet up with you. We'll try and do something out there. And actually, a few people have reached out and said, I live in the area. I think I'll go. So that's great news. Also, download the Fireside app because Krissy and I are now recording live on Fireside. We're Firesiders.
Yes.
Us and our good friend Maz Jaboni and Mark Cuban, they're all there hanging out with us 24 hours a day. I never got Mark's cell phone number.
Oh,
I don't know why.
He neglected to give it to you.
He made a quick exit. He was like, "See you later, man." Later, man. Check you out later. I don't know. Yeah. It was a quick exit.
Yeah.
I think when you're like that rich and that famous, I don't want to say too much, but I know there were security measures that were in place.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see them. It was clear that there were security measures in place that if anything happened, Mark could immediately communicate with somebody that would, I'm sure, just come barging in the door and take care of shit, right? But those kind of guys, they do the Irish goodbye. They don't like walk around the room and say, "Hey man, really nice to meet you and I'll see you later."
Yeah, I'm leaving.
Just left.
You just leave.
I'm talking, of course, if you haven't listened to the episode yet, that I had an opportunity to have be at a dinner with Mark Cuban and Fallon Fatemi and Maz Javroni from Fireside, and it was a really cool night. I'm just explaining that Mark didn't give me a cell phone number on the way out the door. I thought we were getting close. I thought we were buddies. And then now I feel like I want to text him and I can't.
That's probably why he didn't give you his number.
Do you think I could call Fallon and be like, "Hey, Fallon"?
You could try.
I could try. No, probably not. I don't think Mark needs my cell phone number. I don't think he wants me to have his cell phone number.
It's best to go out on a high note.
Yeah, that's true. It's best to go out on, "I'll never see you again, Brian. It was so nice to interact with you. I don't ever need to do it again." It's probably how it's going to go. So one of the things that I wanted to do over the last couple of months, we've been trying to figure it out. We've been trying our best to get the technology to work here in the TCB podcast studios, where many, many wires connect to nothing.
Yes.
And we like it that way. We figure if they're not...
Well, it's kind of like the Clark Griswold Christmas Vacation cluster.
Yes, the cluster string. You don't know how it turned on, so just leave it the fuck alone. Don't touch it. That's the one rule about this studio. Don't fucking touch it. And I work hard to keep my son away from all these wires. He's trained now. He knows how to walk in between them and make sure he doesn't touch them. Yeah, he's good like that. He's actually a little podcaster in training, that kid.
Yes.
But one of the things that I wanted to do, and we just haven't gotten it right yet, is I wanted the ability to take phone calls. Mm-hmm. So we have the ability to take phone calls now. We've let a few people know that that we're here, that we're recording. Yeah. And so what I'd like to do is let's go to the phones and let's see if we can take a phone call. Let's
do
pick
the beep beep boop boop.
Yeah, beep boop boop. Oh. Let's pick up the phone on William from Brooklyn. William, you there?
Yo, it's Will, Big Will, the champ, Brooklyn, New York. How y'all doing?
What's up, Will? Best to you, brother.
Best to y'all. Listen, I'm going to come out hot with a fun fact.
Okay, go.
All right.
With Mark Cuban, that show Shark Tank, right?
We do.
They bid to ownership of the company. Mm-hmm. Well, if you look at the little fine small print at the bottom of the screen, you find out that in order just to be on that show, they have to give ABC 2% of their company.
I knew that. I knew that. And I actually thought it was much more. I actually thought it was 10%. But if it's 2%, regardless of whatever it is, it
might have changed. Yeah,
I did know that. And here's an interesting, so I'll shoot a fun fact back at you. Originally sitting in Mark Cuban's seat for the first season was a gentleman named Kevin Harrington, who was a late night infomercial guy. That's what he was famous for. He owned one of those companies that did infomercials, and he was very successful doing this. Like made hundreds of millions of dollars doing this. He was the first guy. Now, admittedly, his personality was not extremely strong on camera, and so he didn't spend a lot of time on camera because he wasn't one of those guys that was interesting to listen to.
Yeah.
But he did make a few deals, and then on season number 2, they started bringing in other people. I think Cuban came in season number 4 or something like that. Kevin Harrington, I actually worked for Kevin Harrington for a period of time, sussing out new deals for him that then I would send his way. I worked with a patent attorney who worked with Kevin personally, and we would look at new opportunities, and then if we thought it was interesting, we would send it Kevin's way. Nothing ever came of it because, people have really stupid ideas. One guy had a cookie dipper. He called it the cookie. I forget what he called it. I'm not going to say the actual name on there. But it was, just imagine this. It was a straw that had a holder for a cookie. And so you could dip the cookie in the milk while you were drinking the milk through a straw, and then you could pick it up and eat it. And he thought this was the $1 billion idea, and I thought, clearly this is horse shit. Tape a cookie to your straw. I don't know. Who needs that? Who needs that? Who really needs that? No one needed it.
The cookie dipper sounds like one of Cookie Monster's sexual positions.
Hey, listen, don't talk about Cookie Monster like that.
That's right.
There's Cookie Monster porn out there, William.
Oh, God. Don't get
is.
Brian started.
Yeah, don't get me started on the porn.
All the fan fiction in the world is out there for any kind of genre you want.
If you like it, somebody else is into it. It's for sure, without a doubt. So, William, tell us what's going on. How can we help? How can we hear a TCB podcast? How can we help you? What do you got in store for us? What question can we answer for you?
So I started listening a couple of months ago. I know you like to find out how people find you guys.
Yep.
So for me, I listen on this app called Podbean.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And so Podbean has these little things at the top that give you suggestions that refresh every week or so.
Yep.
And you guys were one of the suggestions.
Go
Podbean. Ever since then, I've been listening, and I was just curious since it's way too much time to jump back in time and watch everything from the past. So I was just curious. I know there was you started as like a real estate advice thing or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I was curious. Was it because of COVID? Was it were you? I know you had a radio career. Were you shock jocks like Opie and Anthony? And you got fired and moved on to better things.
Got fired.
I don't know the story.
We got fired. Well, first of all, don't even waste your time going back to those old episodes because they are shitty, my friend. I will let you know. Second of all, thanks to Podbean for the shout out. That's really great news. Podbean is actually I know the people over there who ran them. I met them over at the Podcast Movement, which is where I met Mark. So thanks, Podbean. Short answer is the following. Krissy and I did work in radio, and that's how we met each other. But
we weren't on air.
Yeah, we weren't on air. We worked for the company on the business department. So I was an executive over there. Krissy was a national salesperson over there. And that's how we met. We worked in the same office.
And we just got to be best friends.
Yeah, we just got to be best friends. We started drinking together, and it was all downhill from there. We were just telling, on the episode we just recorded, we were telling the story about how on multiple occasions we either got kicked out, dragged out, or rolled out of multiple places because radio is a cesspool of alcoholics and drug addicts, just like the restaurant business. So we met each other then many years ago. We're going probably on 15 years ago.
Yeah,
then.
2007.
I did actually manage to get myself on air at Clear Channel for a short period of time, but we are talking about overnights on what they call a small stick, which probably reached no more than 30,000. A big stick in Atlanta. The legend. WWW. What was it?
It played like old country.
96.7 The Legend.
Yes.
So what the guy said, I begged these people to be on air. I begged the program director to be on air, and he was like, "You can't. You work in the business office. I can't let you do that because if you fuck up your job because you're trying to be an on-air personality,
right.
it looks bad on me. I'd let you do that." Finally, after multiple alcoholic beverages one night, he said, "Okay, here's the deal. You can be on from 1 or 2 to 5 in the morning." Mm-hmm. I didn't actually, I wasn't live. I would pre-record it, but he said, "You can be on from 2 to 5. There's probably only 10 people that are ever going to hear you. And if I get one fucking word back about you on this radio station, if one person says one thing, I'm yanking you off so fast your head is going to spin. And if you start fucking up your day job, your head is going to spin. Like, he's basically said, don't become a problem. I don't want to hear about it. I want to pretend like I never said yes.
I just want to get you off my back.
Yeah. And basically, so here's the story. So I don't know how to work a radio station. This radio station is a huge radio studio with hundreds of buttons and computers and all this other stuff. So William, so I go in there and the guy says, he hooks me up with a guy to train me how to do this. Guy's name is Lance. Lance, a very nice guy, teaches me how to work the radio station. He says, here's how you record, here's how you go live, here's how you pick up on phone calls, here's how you do the music, all this other stuff. And he says, there's one rule and one rule only. 3 minutes of talk an hour. 3 minutes. How you choose to break up those minutes, I don't care. But there's 3 minutes of total talk an hour. I don't want to hear about it. Like, don't ever go over 3 minutes. And he said, that's the rule. That's just the rule you never break. And he left me alone. He literally gave me 1 day of training. And then the next day I was in the studio recording for 96.7 The Legend to maybe 30,000 people at a time in a city of 12 million.
Yes.
So I started with a little good boy. I started with my 3 minutes. And within 2 months, I was doing almost 40 minutes of talk in an hour.
Yes.
I was doing like a 3-hour show in 4 hours. And
that was the Opie and Anthony method. They would always say, we would just not listen to them and it would work out because the ratings would go up.
And the ratings went up unbelievably. This overnights in the Legend, all of a sudden started showing up in what's called the book in the top, 40 or whatever, whether it's 50 radio stations in Atlanta. Legend was always last, but all of a sudden it was in the top 40. And then, but no one was paying attention. No one ever listened to me from the radio station. I then had Lance came in one day and he says, hey, meet Cam. Cam wants to be on the radio. He's going to do the couple hours after you in the mornings. So teach him how to do this. So essentially, I became the student became the teacher.
You met Cam?
And
you franchised yourself out.
That's right.
Okay.
And so Cam.
Yeah, is that how you met Cam?
That's how I met Cam.
I didn't realize that.
And when Cam got on the radio, he couldn't talk. He was like, he just couldn't say anything. He was so nervous to get behind the microphone. He had never heard his voice behind the microphone. He was so nervous. Poor guy was so shy. So I suggested, why don't you and I will do a little talking back and forth on my show, and then that'll make you comfortable behind the microphone. Then you can go off and do your own thing. Well, the rest is history, as Cam and I went on to do 3 hours of talk in the 4-hour block that I had. And it all was shits and giggles until one night we made joke about Sarah Palin's daughter. It wasn't a bad joke. It wasn't like a rude joke. We didn't use any crass words, but this is a classic country station in South Atlanta. And making fun of Sarah Palin at the time was like, it was not the thing to do. And we caused a holy shitstorm inside of a ruckus to be. And
levels do not matter in our current atmosphere. It's either 0 or 10.
0 or 100, my friend. And that guy yanked us off air so fast. He actually yanked Cam off air, told me to shut the fuck up and do my 3 minutes. And within a month, we were right back to it. He let Cam back on air, right back to it. But it all ended when the Clear Channel got bought by a private equity company. They laid off tens of thousands of people, and I wasn't one of them, but there were other people who had family members at the time. I didn't have anybody to take care of but myself, so I took a severance package so a guy next door to me could survive the layoffs. That's how that happened. That's how Krissy and I met, and Krissy did a couple times come on air.
Guest.
Yeah, she was a guest on our little shitty rinky-dink radio program in the middle of the night. So there you go.
And that was like 2009. Now fast forward to 2020. Yeah.
And I got asked by a friend. She said, you should do a radio show or a podcast. It's like a radio show, but our friend Allison. And I had been thinking about it for years. Actually, my wife had told me I should do it, and she was really pushing me to do a video podcast, like a vodcast on YouTube. But no one wants to look at my ugly fucking mug. So I grabbed Krissy. I said, hey, Krissy, why don't you just do the first 2 episodes with me?
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking. Just do the first 2 episodes with me. And the rest is history, actually. By episode number 2, we were hooked. And here we are almost 100 episodes later.
I know, it's crazy.
And hundreds of thousands of listeners. It's just like, William, it's been an insane ride for the two of us. But we're good friends. We go way back. And in 2020, the pandemic we were going to do the podcast anyway. The pandemic kind of was hitting us as we were starting our first
It gave
episodes.
us more time
It gave us more time to develop content and stuff like that.
Yep.
And so now I ask you a question, William. What makes you enjoy the program so much?
Obviously you guys are funny, and I started by listening around the time that you guys had the masks, the masking.
Oh yeah.
And now that you guys have these little odd things that you talk about, it's kind of in my wheelhouse because I'm that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm also a guy that I listen to a lot of podcasts and I enjoy it almost better than watching TV sometimes. Like I guess I have referenced Opie and Anthony. I used to listen to a lot of radio, Ron and Fez and stuff like that. I wanted to be on myself. I think you can hear I have a pretty decent voice.
Yeah,
but
you do.
I never had anybody to like push me in that direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So
it's just the general interests that you guys talk about, and I also like the fact that Opie and Anthony used to talk about. I don't know if you guys like him or Howard better, or if there's any.
And I don't.
Whatever.
I listen to Howard simply because I can listen to Howard, and I know Opie or Anthony or both of them at one point were on Sirius, but the only reason why
now it's a shit show with them.
Okay, those two are idiots. Yeah.
But they used to make fun of the woman that used to be in the room. And they would say, because they always be like, oh, don't say that. And Krissy's not like that. And that's refreshing. You know what I'm saying? She's saying fucking and going with it. You know what I'm saying? And I emailed Bryan and had said that I wish you would talk more, when I sent them my ideas for the shows.
Yeah. Well,
cool. Listen,
I think it's great. We appreciate you listening and we appreciate you being here today.
Yes.
So I actually we're recording an episode. So and you know that. So I thought I was going to play a game with Krissy, but do you want to jump in on the game?
Yeah, it's all good. Let's
do this. Here's the game that I came up with, Krissy. Every once in a while we like to play a game, right? Yes. I know my games. You hate them.
They make me nervous.
I know. My wife is like, it's so obvious that Krissy hates these games. I don't know why you play them. She's like, she never wants to answer the questions. And it's so true. Krissy's answer is always, well, what do you think? What would you do? I don't want to answer that. But I'm going to push you a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Okay. All right. I'll try and stay away from anything that I think might upset you or family members.
It's not upsetting.
It's not upsetting. I think that here's my opinion, right? You want my opinion? My opinion is I think you feel like maybe this would upset Jeff
when you're
or somebody
asking me if I'd rather fuck an older guy or a younger midget, then I mean, I'll answer
Krissy,
it.
I'll take the bullet for you. I'll take the midget.
Yeah,
I'll answer it,
but you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Okay, I get it. I guess I don't really consider my wife, and I'm not really considerate, so I don't worry about it too much. Okay, let's play a little game. This game is called How Many Zeros. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
I think How Many Zeros is
William, are you ready? Will?
Yeah, Will, are you ready? Okay, let's play a little game.
Born ready, baby. Born ready.
Here we go. All right, now, How Many Zeros is played like this. How many zeros would it take you to do whatever I'm about to ask? All right? And there's a series of questions, a range of questions. It could be, would you do something? It could be, would you sleep with someone? You get it, right? Okay. I'm going to ask a question. You tell me how many zeros, dollar-wise, would it take you to do the following? Okay, and we'll ask it of you, we'll ask it of Will, and then I'll give my opinion, too. All right, let's start off easy.
Okay.
How many zeros would it take for you to eat a live fish?
Oh. I'm going to go with 1,000.
1,000, so 3 zeros.
Yes,
okay,
3 zeros.
So 3 zeros. Will, to eat a live fish, something that's alive and squiggling.
I'll go 5,000.
Because she goes 5,000, so he's the 3 zeros also. So
I like sushi, so that's really close.
I have actually had live octopus, live baby octopus, and I paid. So exactly. I was the one who paid. Okay.
You ever watch Bizarre Foods with Andrew Zamora? You ever see that crap that he does?
Yeah, of course.
And I was horrified as I watched a live lobster being chopped up and used as a serving plate. It was crazy. I can never watch it again after that.
No, lobsters have feelings. They cry, don't they? Or some shit like that?
It's gas. I think it's gas pressure that goes between the
shell and the meat.
The shell. Yeah, I think that's a myth on the crying.
Anyway,
Either way, they're actually the same species as cockroaches, so I will never touch them.
Oh,
I don't like cockroaches at all. It's the one insect that I cannot deal with, and if I see them in the house, I will literally buy poison that is bad for my children, my dogs, and myself, and spray it all around.
Yeah.
There's the question: how many zeros to eat a cockroach?
Will coming in.
I would say that you probably have to get me in the. There would probably have to be 4 zeros behind it. It'd probably have to be like in the $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 range to eat a live cockroach.
Okay.
What about you? I mean, you don't like cockroaches either. You will. How many zeros?
I'd probably have to go to the million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, me
$1
too,
million
Will.
bucks, huh?
I'm the type of guy, I'm a big guy, and if I see a big, like, giant cockroach, I will run away screaming.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
I don't run away screaming, but I get nervous around it. I'm like, I start jumping around, and I come in, and I make a plan. I walk outside the room, I make a plan, I draw it out. I'm going to come in from the left. I'm going to blindside him on the right.
I negotiated with one time.
Did you please leave?
Yes, I was like, if you leave, just leave, and I'll pretend like I never saw you. Just
If you go, I'll go. If you walk away, I'll walk away.
And then I drink a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
He starts dedicating songs to it and singing it.
Oh, man, that's so gross. Okay, here's the next question.
Okay.
How many zeros for you, and I'll give this one to Will first. Will, how many zeros for you to eat roadkill? Squirrel, raccoon, something you see on the side of the road.
Is it cooked?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Of course. Yeah, I'll say it's cooked.
But
it's
course.
roadkill. Came off the road.
I'm trash. I'll take at least 100.
Oh, wow.
Love it.
100.
I love it.
Cooked food is cooked food. If
Yeah,
it's not diseased,
It's true.
whatever.
Yeah, it's true. But, usually roadkill is of some rodent variety that you wouldn't eat, like a squirrel. But I do know that, by the way, lots of people eat squirrel. And when I was in Miami,
Possum too. I think
possum
people
too. When I was in Miami, when I was in Naples a couple of weeks ago, there were raccoons that came up to the car and were like greeting us. They were like right where you are, and they were saying hello. They were putting their hands up like this. My son
food.
wanted to play with it, and I was like, "Get the fuck away from that thing!"
No,
could have rabies.
A raccoon will fuck your life up.
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
certainly will. But I know other people have them
sharp
as
claws.
pets. Yeah. So how many zeros for you to eat roadkill?
Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with 500. So 2
Okay,
zeros.
500.
Still.
All right. Okay, that's not that bad. Okay, let's get.
Actually, I have some of this in actual practice. I have a buddy. I'm actually a competitive eater. I haven't mentioned it yet.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. Wow.
I do. I'm what I would call semi-retired. I don't really practice anymore, but I have a buddy of mine that also does that, and he did a fried cicada eating contest once.
Oh, yeah, that's been the rage because this year was when the cicadas came out.
Yeah. Listen.
And he said that people were grabbing them one by one like they were retching, and he said he was just scooping them up by the handful. He won like 10 to 100 or something like that.
Wow. Oh.
They're supposed to not taste that bad.
So let me derail this for 1 second. I just have two questions about competitive eating.
Yeah.
Right on.
How sick do you get after you competitive eat like that? Like how ill is your stomach after you eat, 100 hot dogs or whatever it is?
It depends on the length of the contest. If you're going like a 2-minute contest, it's still going to be more than you or her would eat, but it's still fine for us.
Yeah.
And most competitive eaters will just take like a 10-minute contest to the stomach and let it go naturally.
Wow.
But some of us also regurgitate, and some go as far as to use Epicock.
Yeah. The stuff that makes you sick.
Yeah, and if you have a particularly meaty contest, you're definitely getting the meat sweats at night.
Oh my God,
wow.
I just can't imagine.
And they're horrific.
Yeah.
It could be 0 degrees outside, and you're just hot and sweating greasy.
Oh, that just makes me uncomfortable just thinking about it, because I know at my age, when I eat a steak, it makes me sick, like physically sick. I have to be careful because I'm so hungry and I love steak, and I'll eat it, and then and half an hour later I'll be like, oh my God, what did I do to myself? And then I watch these guys that are eating 77 hot dogs in a sitting, and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
There's actually a challenge out in Texas in this town called Amarillo. And it's a famous steak that all the competitive eaters have gone to.
The 79er or the 76er.
Yeah, something like I think it might be even 80 or something. Yeah, something like that.
Oh my
and they'll sit there and film you the whole thing to see if you do it or not, and then they post your name and on the video. And there's like a record for the fastest time. I think somebody did it in like a couple of minutes.
Yeah, no thanks. Not for me. That's a different question. How many hot dogs would you eat? 77 hot dogs. Okay, here's one. I got one. Ready? We're gonna get a little bit. We're gonna get a little bit tougher.
Oh, okay. Level 2?
Yes, level 2.
Are we leveled up?
Yeah, we're like
round 2.
Round 2. Mike Tyson's punch out. Okay, how many zeros to run naked through the mall?
To run naked through the mall.
To run naked through the mall. Or walk naked through the mall, whatever you choose. But you got to be naked in the mall.
See, I have caveats, though. Can it be a mall that's not close to home?
Yes, it can be a mall where you don't know anybody.
Okay.
Okay, then, yeah. I'm easy on that, then. Just give me $100. I'll do it.
Wow. We're going to have to get Will down here to Atlanta.
I know.
Film some content.
All right, that's a little too close. Make it 1,000.
Okay, 1,000. All right, fair enough. I'll put you up at the Hyatt Inn.
I would go with 1,000 too.
You go with 1,000?
That's too close to a reality.
Yeah. I would do it. Yeah, I would think I would do it for 1,000.
Yeah,
I think for 1,000 I would do it.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to like stand there and have conversations with people, I could
Right,
just,
you
like,
just
run
walk.
in and run out.
You just walk straight
Just
through.
walk straight,
Fast
and I
walk.
didn't know anybody. Okay, here's one.
Picturing
Fast walk.
picturing us walking fast,
Yes.
naked through the
Or
mall.
prancing like one of that lady who does the prancer size.
You can just run around calling yourself Frank the Tank.
I would just like make my scrundle sack available to anyone who was looking. Okay, all right. How many zeros to cut off a finger?
Oh.
Cut off a finger. You had to cut off your own finger.
I have to cut off my own finger?
You have to cut off
Will
your own
has
finger.
to cut off his own finger?
Yes, we're not anesthetized here. You just
Oh,
have to.
I got to do. Oh, ow,
That's-
ow.
Sober?
Just losing a finger is easy.
Yeah, losing a finger, you don't, it's just, you have no choice about it. It just goes.
Yeah.
But cutting it off, you have to think about
Yeah.
it, you have to attack it, and you have to do it, right?
Okay.
And so I will say yes, that you are, no, actually, you know what? You can be in whatever state of inebriation you'd like.
Okay.
So how many zeros?
Cut off a finger. I'm going to go with 100K.
$100K, $100,000 for a finger.
I like my fingers.
Yeah, I would. I'd probably actually say $1 million because I think without one finger, we think we can lose one of the digits.
I mean, does it go all the way down to the knuckle? Or like, could it be half?
no, I think you all the way down to the knuckle.
Like, or just the
Can it
tip?
be one of the useless fingers?
Yes, it can be whatever finger you
Just
choose.
the tip.
No, John, not just the tip. Lots of people lose the tip. Lots of people lose the tip. Lots of people have just the tip. That's a thing.
So many problems have been caused by just the tip.
Just the tip. I'm Catholic. Just the tip is like, that's a way of living for us. Okay. All right. How many zeros, Will, to lose a finger?
I would probably go $1 million, but I'd have to have like a clean cleaver chop.
Yeah, me too. I would have to.
Yeah,
I couldn't do
quick.
it saw style.
No, you'd have to be quick. Boom.
I say you could lose it in whatever you could take it off in whatever manner you choose, and you can have whatever state of inebriation. I'm with Will. I go $1 million because I think
Gosh, I
losing
was
a
getting
finger.
off easy here.
Yeah, you were like
100K.
$100,000. I think I could probably come up with that. That'd be a good on-demand special. Krissy loses a finger. You'd never.
I have a little
Hey,
game to play.
I do so much cooking that I'm cutting my fingers all the time and always having to bandage them. So if it wasn't there anymore, then well,
You
then
probably
good
wouldn't
riddance.
know it. Okay. Take a dream vacation with your worst enemy. With your worst enemy, the person in this world that you just despise with a passion.
That's relative though, because I don't have the same hate for the kids that I did in high school.
Yep.
But if you got me in that moment, I'd want that person to be the most hated person. You understand? I hate somebody more now, but I had that same hate 20 years ago for someone else.
Okay, so let's just say
It has to be relative.
Yeah, okay, so the person that you hate now the most, like I'm saying, I'm going to give you your dream vacation. I want you to travel all across Europe or wherever. Go to Thailand.
How long is this vacation?
Let's say 2 weeks. 2-week vacation. You're going to have to stay in the same hotel room. You're going to have to eat at the same places. You're going to have to go on the same adventures. You're basically chained to this person, but you're going to get to go on your dream vacation. And I'm going to pay you to do it. How many zeros?
I mean, I'm going again with 100K.
Okay, 100K. I think that sounds about right. I think 100K.
I mean, because I would try and use it as an opportunity
For healing?
For healing.
I'd use it as an opportunity for a good podcast episode.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
you
I'm
gotta
taking
cha-
along
you
my
gotta
tape
turn it
recorder.
into something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Will, how many zeros to take your worst enemy on a dream vacation?
I wouldn't need a lot. I'll make it $10. It's easy for me.
Woo!
1 0,
All
$10.
right.
Yeah, I don't listen.
Wow.
I'm a current era hippie. I'm like a peace and love guy. Nobody really bothers me.
Okay.
So
Me too.
my worst enemy is a neighbor of mine that just gives me the stink eye, and I could deal with the stink eye for nothing for a free vacation.
Yeah,
Fair
that's
enough. Okay,
true.
we're kind of new age hippies too.
Yeah.
My wife calls me a militant hippie. That's what she says I am.
Militant.
Or a no melanin hippie.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I have plenty of melanin because that tanning bed puts it right in me. All right. Okay.
Yes, Brian still goes to a tanning bed.
I don't go to a tanning bed. The tanning bed comes to me. Okay. All right.
Oh God, remember the tanning mom?
Oh yeah, Tan Mom.
Yes.
Oh, Tan Mom was the best. She was
You
great.
gotta follow up on that story. That'd be a good episode.
we do need to do some follow-ups.
Yeah, we'll
Brian.
follow up on that. Okay, so give a speech in front of 3,000 strangers on a subject you know little about. Oh. Okay? So not only are you giving a speech in front of a new crowd that you know nobody in the audience, but you have to give it on a topic you know little about, not your area of expertise. So we're
This
not
feels
doing,
like Impractical Jokers now.
yeah, I know, seriously. Like this, but I was trying to think of the fears that kind of we all have of something. And obviously public speaking.
No, they always put them in cringy situations.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of them that you're like, but see, for me, I'm not a person that gets embarrassed easily like that. So that's light work for me. I would just look stupid, and that's okay. I look stupid on a daily basis.
Me too. I don't mind looking like an idiot. That's my kind of my public persona. I would say, if I had to answer first, I would say if you gave me probably $1,000,
Yeah.
I would go give a speech, because I think I could talk through
You
pretty much any
definitely
subject,
could.
regardless of whether I knew about it. You could
Yeah.
probably say super cool,
Yeah.
supercomputers or organic supercomputers, and I could probably go up there and make shit up. And
You definitely
even if
could.
everybody else was like, "That's bullshit."
Yeah, I don't know that I could do what you do, and that's why you're the lead
Yeah.
on this podcast.
Well, somebody's got to be in charge. Someone's got to look like an idiot.
But yeah, I mean, I would say $1,000. I'd give it a shot. I don't care if I look stupid either, especially if people I
Okay.
didn't know.
All
You
right.
said it's people you don't know.
People you don't know.
And if
Nobody
it was
you
people
know.
I knew, if it was 3,000 of the people that I knew,
You'd feel more pressure.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'd feel more pressure if I didn't know them, because if I did know them, then they'd know that I was just going to come up there and talk shit for 30 minutes, right? they'd be like, "Oh, that's
see,
just
they would
Bryan."
think that of me.
Yeah.
They'd be expecting me to know what I was talking about.
That's true. If they were me, they were like, "Oh, we better fact check all of
yeah,
this."
exactly.
And think about me. I go on stage and shove food in my face for money. Do you think this is going to make a problem?
Yeah,
in my
that's
life?
true. That's true. Will
You're
says this is the
good.
least embarrassing thing I'm going to do this year.
You know what? For me, this one is like a negative cost thing, because $100 is nice, but it's not going to get me out of bed. So I'm thinking 1,000 just to get me to go
There
there.
you go.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, we
1,000.
got to think about what's going to motivate us.
Right.
Like $100 to me is,
Yeah.
how much I've made my entire podcasting career.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to motivate me to do shit. Okay, here's one. Base jump off a tall building. Base jump off a tall building. Yeah, so we're not talking about parachuting out of an airplane where there's a nice, soft field to land in. We're talking about base jumping off a building in the middle of a city, and you got seconds to throw your parachute.
Whoa.
I'll answer first. I'm out.
Yeah, you're out.
Okay.
Are you afraid of
I'm
heights?
out. I'm afraid of heights, and large plus gravity equals splat.
Yeah, but I mean,
So-
okay, yeah, I'm with you.
I don't trust the parachute for my weight limit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, listen. I don't. I probably wouldn't have a challenge with the weight limit, but I am horrified of heights. Horrified. So I think you'd probably have to give me. It'd probably have to be at least $100,000, but I'm thinking more like $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm thinking $1 million would get me, because I don't even know that my body would
It's
physically
going to
allow
go
me.
up when you're standing up on top
Oh
of that
yeah,
building,
for
too.
sure. I'm gonna be like, wait, can I renegotiate? Hey, magic man, making these offers. Can I renegotiate?
Yes. See, I'm a bit more of a daredevil. I love crazy roller coasters and heights and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm an adrenaline junkie.
Okay.
So I would probably do it for 10 seems low if I lost my life. So,
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about.
Oh, that's your value.
I would say I would probably do it for $10,000, but
Jeff's like, bitch, you left me with $10,000. That bitch.
I'll give you $10,000 for a 10% stake in your life.
yeah,
Yeah, just go to ABC. They take ownership.
you're right.
Okay, so for you, it's little. It's
lower.
$1,000.
No, it's not 1,000.
10,000.
That's what I was saying. 10,000.
10,000.
I would do it, but that seems low then if I lost my life.
Yeah, that's going to be very low if you lose
Yeah.
your life, because Jeff's going to have to pay for the funeral. That $10,000 is going to be gone. Where's he going to get the strippers and coke? Because that's the kind of party we're going to throw.
Yeah.
All right, here's one.
Hookers and blow.
Hookers and strippers. Okay, here's one. How many zeros to marry a roller coaster and no one else knows about it, and you have to stay married for a year? You have to pretend that you're in love with a roller coaster for a year. How many zeros?
I mean, I'm confused and no one else knows about it.
No one else. In other words,
Yeah, what does that entail?
okay, so here it is. Ready? Watch. I come up to you and I say, how many zeros to go marry that roller coaster? And you have to pretend like you're in love with that roller coaster to the
Okay.
point, just like those ladies on the
the
episode
show.
we reviewed, right?
Yeah.
You have to pretend, but you cannot let anybody else in on the joke. You cannot let anybody else know that you're being paid to do this.
Okay.
You just have to go around. You have to go with it for an entire year. And if you tell anybody, I'm taking the money away.
That's $1 million for me. 'cause
$1 million.
It's too hard to keep up a charade for a fucking year.
Yeah,
You
it's
love a
hard.
roller
That's
coaster.
part of the question, right? Is how long can you keep the joke going, right?
I don't think I could get through it.
that's the thing.
I don't think I could get through it either.
I don't think I could get through it.
But if I could,
Like, the effort wouldn't be worth the money because I think it's a 99% a fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. This is a hard one, but I think if I could get through it, that an extra $100,000 in my pocket just to pretend like I'm married to a roller coaster is not a bad idea.
Oh, for sure.
It's better than base
That's
jumping.
what I'm going with, $1 million.
It's
Yeah.
better than base jumping.
That's good logic.
Spend 3 nights in the Florida swamp with only the clothes on your back.
Ooh.
So the Okefenokee, which is famous, by the way, you live in New York, the Everglades, which the Everglades, which is famous for gators, snakes, and all kind of things that can kill you. Actually, that guy, who's the guy who runs around doing all the what's his name? The guy who does all of the survivalist shows.
Yeah, who is
you know,
that?
Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls said, and the alligator guy from Australia, or the crocodile hunter, what was his name?
Right.
Irwin.
Steve Irwin. That's right. Steve Irwin and Bear Grylls both said that the most dangerous place that they've ever visited, the place where they had to survive, was the swamp.
The swamp.
The swamp in Florida, right? So the Everglades were that was the thing that they feared the most, was not being out, wherever in the Sahara Desert or any of those places. It was the swamp. And let me tell you, since I was just there a couple weeks ago in the middle of the swamp taking one of those airboat rides, there is a gator or a crocodile everywhere you turn. They're everywhere. They are huge. They have their mouths open. They're ready for you. You're delicious. You're delicious, and they want you.
You know, the thing I would be scared of the most is the freaking mosquitoes. They would eat me alive based on last weekend by the pool.
Based on your previous history with the mosquitoes?
I mean, they can't. It's craziness.
I think you have to give me $1 million to do this.
I'm going with $1 million.
I think you have to give me $1 million to do this. What about you, Will?
Give me $1 million and film me and make it a reality show.
Yep, that's what I say.
Yes.
I say, give me $1 million, we'll make money off of the licensing rights.
Yep.
Okay, now, spend 1 night on Mount Everest. 1 night on Mount Everest. Now, remember, you're in the death zone. Above 12,000 feet, you're cold, it's chilly, it's stormy, you have oxygen, but you must spend the night up there, where not even experienced climbers feel like it's a great place to spend the night. They do, but they don't like it. Your body basically deteriorating as soon as you get up
Does
there.
my fat ass have to climb, or are you just dropping me there?
I'll drop you off. We'll drop you off.
You're airdropping us in there?
I'll airdrop you right to 28,000 feet.
I mean, do we have warm?
24 hours?
24 hours. You got to be up there.
Do we have all the equipment that we would normally have, like a tent?
I would say
and the warm clothes.
You
and
have
stuff?
enough equipment that under normal circumstances are likely to get you through the night. But since it's Mount Everest, you just never know, right?
Okay.
But you have a tent to protect you from the wind. You're wearing clothing that's appropriate, and you have oxygen.
Cold.
I hate to be cold too. I hate it.
Unless it's at night while I'm sleeping.
Yeah, that's true. And
I can never get it cold enough.
Me neither. I can't. I swear to God. And especially not in the summer. I turn it down to 66.
Yeah.
And I can never get it under 68 because my air conditioner just won't work that hard. I would say that this one, I might need $10 million to do this because first of all, I'm afraid of heights. Second of all, I hate to be cold. Third of all, I've watched a lot of documentaries on Mount Everest, and that shit is scary. Those people have fucking balls of steel to go up that high and try and survive. It's crazy. Your body's basically deteriorating the second you get up there. You can only spend 24 hours in the death zone.
Okay.
But to do it, I would have to get $10 million.
$10 million.
That's my number. What's your number?
I'm going to go with $2 million.
$2
if you're just
million
airdropping
dollars.
me on, I think I could make it for 24 hours.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Will?
I'll go 5 because I feel like I have a lot. My body has enough to feed off of and keep me warm.
You've got some extra insulation.
Yeah, so you bundle my ass up in a couple of, whatever XL jackets I need. I'll be good.
Yeah,
Okay,
a couple
all
North
right.
Faces.
Okay,
Some
all right.
Columbia pants.
Some Under Armour. All right. Okay, we have 2 more. All right. Well, I mean, we have 1 million more, but we have 2 more.
Okay.
2 more in this episode. Okay, ready? Fly and land a plane using only air traffic controller help. So, in other words, pilot dies while you're up in the air in one of these little tiny planes. Pilot just passes out right there, which is by the way.
Do you have the inflatable co-pilot?
Happened. You
like
have the
this,
on the airplane.
An airplane.
Yes, you do. But he's not much help because
You're
he can't
right.
actually do anything.
Okay.
So if it makes you feel comfortable, bring the inflatable. But pilot passes out, which, by the way, this has happened. There is tape of this happening. A guy was up in a plane with a private pilot, and the pilot died.
Oh, my
and he didn't know how to
God.
fly a plane. And so the air traffic control talked him down.
Wow.
Now, they crashed when he landed, but they survived, right?
Yeah.
But now, mind you, I've done this. I've flown planes before.
Yes,
Landing is
you
the hard
have.
part. Taking off is easy. Landing is the hard part.
Right.
Flying is easy. It's just like a
Yeah.
car. You just got to turn the wheel, right? As long as you can keep your nose up, then you're good. But you only have air traffic control to help you.
Yeah, but this is like a fantasy of mine. Like, this is like being at the concert and they need the drummer and you're the guy, you know? Like,
Pull in, Will.
Yeah.
Will.
You know, when I first started learning how to fly, Will, I got to admit that the couple times that I actually got on a commercial airliner, in my head, I was like, if they need somebody, they have
I'll
no
be
idea.
there.
Should I alert the pilot that
Yeah.
I know how to fly?
I would often talk loudly, like, well, we're going to take off now, which means they're probably going to push the throttle up to 40. They're going to, I would start talking like I'm a pilot, right? Just to let other
you see
people
this
know.
button right here?
Yeah.
I got my wings.
I've flown twice. I'm still here to talk about it.
I've got 5 hours of flight time, buddy.
I do. That's it. You know, I've 32 hours of flight time, which you need like 4,000 to even become a pilot. But anyway, I would probably say I need at least $10,000 because I do understand. And I had an instructor with me every single time that could take control. He never did, but he could take control if he needed to. And just that fact made me feel comfortable to listen to instruction and do the myriad of complicated things you need to do to get the plane down on the ground and stop it safely. So I would say at least $10,000, probably more like 50 or 100 to do this because I know it's a complicated thing to do.
Do you have anybody else in the plane
No,
with you?
it's you and the pilot who's dead.
It's not a Delta flight.
No, not
747.
No, because
Okay.
those things basically land themselves, right?
Yeah.
I think.
No, they actually don't anymore.
No,
they don't do the automatic landing on them.
I know they don't, right? But they could if they needed to. The
Yeah, they
technology
used
was
to.
there. Yeah. So I would say probably $50,000 to $100,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 50.
Yeah. Will, what about you? You like you like the idea of flying? Have you ever thought about being a pilot, even though you're scared of heights?
No,
Yeah.
but in your head, you have those little kid fantasies of things that you would like to experience.
Yep.
I'm one of those people that I feel my dreams pretty hard. So like I'll wake up having done something, but I feel like I've had the experience. So
yeah.
Nice.
I'm like one of those people. So I would like to do it in a fun like fantasy situation, but I would probably go with the Krissy logic of, well, there's a chance I'm going to die. So what would my family have?
Yeah.
So I would probably go out with like a $5 million on that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
$5 million. I'm at $100,000. Krissy's at 50,000.
You said
I said
10.
50. I said 50 to 100.
Hey,
is what
you
I said.
10 first.
Did I? Okay, I'll go $5,000. I don't know. It changes every minute. The more that I think about it, the more expensive it gets. Okay. All right. One more question, and then we're running out of time for today. But Will, we'd
Okay.
love to have you back another time.
Yeah, this has been so fun.
We
No
encourage,
doubt.
we encourage everybody to send us a text message if you'd like to be on an episode of The Commercial Break. 470-584-8449. Standard text messaging rates do apply to those of you outside of the continental United States. If you'd like to be on a future episode, please make sure you text us. We'll tell you a time to call in. William's our first phone call guest, and I think it's been a lot of fun. Here's the final question. How many zeros?
Wait, let me throw this in.
Go.
And like Howard Stern had the whack pack, we could have the Grundle sack pack.
I
Yes,
love
the
it.
Grundle
Very
sack
nice.
pack.
Very nice. The Scrundle Sack Pack is coming. So, William, you're our first member of the Scrundle Sack Pack. There you go. Okay, our final question on how many zeros. The final question on how many zeros is how many zeros to bring a sex doll to Thanksgiving dinner as your date. And you can tell no one. You have to pretend as if it's real.
Like $1,000.
$1,000?
Whatever. My family would be like, that's funny.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do it
Do
anyway.
you want a plate
Yeah.
for?
would
for
Bob
him?
like a plate?
Yeah.
By the way, Bob's got a raging hard on.
Yeah. I feel like, what's Krissy doing now?
Yeah, what's
That's
Krissy
fine.
doing? But he's got a big cock. Yeah. How many?
Will, could you pass your girlfriend, please?
Yeah, Jeff would probably get in on it too. He'd be in on the joke.
He'd love it. Actually, we should do this and film it. I should
Yeah.
bring a sex doll to my family dinner. I bet my family would be like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit!"
Yeah.
He met Mark Cuban. It all went downhill from there.
I was going to say, I'll do it for free just for the lulz.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I would love to do it. All right, well, Will from Brooklyn, Will the Thrill, I really appreciate it. Thank you, Will the Thrill. That's my new name. Will the Thrill from Brooklyn.
It's Big Will the Champ.
Big Will the
I have
Champ.
a brand I'm trying to build here.
That's right.
Okay, Big Will the Champ. Thank you
Big
very
Will the
much
Champ.
for joining us today. You're a super fan. We love you very much, and we appreciate every time that you communicate with us. And thanks for coming on today, on to the commercial break. So we'll talk to you a little bit later, Will. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Anytime, brother. Anytime, Krissy.
Yay. So
Best
nice to talk to you.
you.
Best to
And
you.
best to you.
Best to you, Big Will.
Best to you. Okay, that was Will. So nice to have him on. That was very nice of him to
amazing.
call in and talk to us for a little while.
It was fun to have interaction.
Yeah, I'd spoken with Will a few times via email. He'd actually sent in some ideas about
shows.
content, for shows, and we used one or two of them, and it was good. Like he's got the idea of the show. He understands my sick and twisted comedy sense and how much we like it. So I really, really appreciate it. And okay, so I don't know what else we can do. What else do you want to do today?
I think that's it.
You think that's it? Yeah, now we've got to go and we got to do more recording. You know what I'm saying?
We do.
We got to go and we got to talk to some other people.
We do.
I just got to say. Can I just say this? Can I just say the following?
Sure.
I'm not sure I really want to do this.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I
can't wait to tell the story in full about what we're about to do.
Yeah, well, let's keep it under wraps for right now.
Yeah, I'll keep it under wraps for right now. I don't want to make it sound like,
Hey, it could be fun. We don't know.
Could be fun. You never know.
Again,
But let's just say this. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you pay me $1,000 to do that?
I feel like I'm on 5 zeros behind this one. It just doesn't feel fun to me.
Yeah.
It already feels like a struggle. You know what I'm saying?
But then that's when sometimes things are good.
Yeah,
when you have
true.
like super low expectations.
We do have super low expectations.
And then you go into it and you're like, well, actually, that was good.
That's true. You know what? That's true. Good.
Yeah.
I shouldn't color this a bad situation
Yeah.
before we even know what we're getting ourselves into.
Yeah.
So
Let's just go with it.
Yeah, we'll go with it. And I'll say this. I'll just put
Roll with it like water.
I'll explain what we're talking about just a little bit. Sometimes when you're in this podcast universe, you get asked to do some things by other podcasters. And as much as you do so much recording anyway, sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to go do more recording for somebody else's program. But at the end of the day, you also don't want to be a dick, right? So I'll just be a dick without actually saying the name. So I'll just be a dick
Yeah,
right
and
now.
it could be great. It could be great.
Could be good. You never know. Okay. www.tcbpodcast.com is where you go. You can read all the show notes, find out more about Krissy and I, listen to all the audio, watch all the video. And if you're so inclined and you want to get involved in the next contests we're running, go to youtube.com/thecommercialbreak. Watch all the episodes all the way through from episode number 85 on. And if you're writing down all the clues that are hidden somewhere in the video, that's all I'm going to say, then you'll be able to answer the question when I ask it in a couple of weeks. And when I ask it, then you'll write in, you'll give us the answer. And if you're correct, you'll be entered in to win our next big prize. Last time it was $500 in gold gift cards. I'm saying that because I want you to know that we don't run cheap on the contests here.
No.
We want you to, when you win, we want you to win. I'm not going to give you a fucking mug or something like that. It's going to be good stuff, right?
Yeah.
But if you want a mug, write us, info@tcbpodcast.com. Tell us your show ideas. If you got a good story or an interesting thing to tell us, we'd be happy to listen. And who knows, we might put it on air. 470-584-8449. Text us if you'd like to be on a future episode of The Commercial Break. Or you can leave us a voicemail. And make sure you say best to you because we might put it on air. Even if you don't like us, just say best to you. Or
it's
best
fun.
the fuck to you. Or whatever you want to say. Say it and we'll put it on air at some point during the episodes.
Yes.
Also, Fireside Chat. Download it now. Krissy and I are recording live on Fireside Chat at least once a week. Go to our Instagram. Follow us there because that's when you'll be notified about when all of the... Actually, if you go on the Fireside app and you follow us, you'll get notified about when we
That's
schedule
true.
events. Yeah.
Exactly.
So either way, follow us
Put
on
it on
Instagram.
Instagram and Fireside.
Yeah. Okay, so what else can we do today?
I think that's it, Brian.
Okay, so this is how it goes. I love you, Krissy.
I love you, Brian.
Best to you, Krissy.
Best to you, Brian.
Best to William for joining us today.
Best
and
to you,
best,
Big Will.
Big Will the champ. And best to you out there in the podcast universe.
Yes.
Until next time, we must say bye.
The Commercial Break. New episodes on Tuesdays and now Fridays. New YouTube clips drop daily at youtube.com/The Commercial Break. Visit tcbpodcast.com for access to our entire media library. Follow us at The Commercial Break on Instagram. Each episode is written and produced by Brian Green, co-hosted by Krissy Hotley, with additional content provided by Tina Cano.
You too can have a limp dick. Watch both parties go unpleasured as Bryan knocks it out.
Sounds riveting.
Riveting.
Must watch TV is what they call it.
Yeah, riveting is a good word. Bryan, riveting for 37 seconds. Oh, sorry.